Welcome to Machine Learning Lesson 2.3. In the previous lesson, we saw how convenient and easy it was to filter information by columns. Well, in this video, we're going to see how we can filter out rows so we can see just a subset of our data. And you're going to see that the traditional comparative and logical operators can be used to create conditions as to which rows we want. So let's get to it. So I've gone ahead and already, imported the library, got the data, and grabbed the first three rows just to kind of inspect the data. And this is the cars data that we've seen in previous videos. So we've got prices, brand, model, year, title status, all that. So let's say we want to grab, we're on a budget. We only want to see cars that are less than $2,000. So let's do df, because that's where our data exists. We're going to use our brackets, but this time, instead of just specifying a column, we're going to do df price less than 2,000. So what we're saying here is grab all the rows where the price is less than 2,000. And there we go. So pretty straightforward. We can see here we get 122 cars back. Let's try to grab something else. Let's say we want to grab only the cars that are in New York. So we're going to do df again. So we do df dot, and let's see what's the column name of that, state. Equals New York. So again, if you're familiar with comparative operators from other languages, they work here too. Double equal sign is to check for equal. There's a less than equal, greater than equal, not equal. And there we go. So these are the cars from New York. And let's see, how many did we get back? Wow. Okay, so there was so many that, well, actually, I should say there was so few that I guess it didn't give us the number at the bottom. So what we can do, just out of curiosity, I wonder if this works. Let's do shape, if you remember that from the first lesson. And there we go. So shape gives us, how our information is shaped. So we got 58 rows with 9 columns. All right, so I'm not going to go through all the other comparative operators. Trust me, they work. So let's look at something else we can also do that we've done in traditional programming, which is to use logical operators such as and or. So let's find perhaps all the cars that are less than 2,000 and in New York. So let's do df price less than 2,000 and df state in New York. Okay, I'm going to run this. It's not going to work. Okay, so a couple of things weird about this. If you're familiar with Python, you know that the and operator in Python is actually to type the word and. It doesn't work like that here because this is part of the pandas library, and they use this operator for the and. The other thing that you're also going to have to do, which you typically don't have to do in most other programming languages, that you actually have to put your conditions in parentheses. So a couple of small things to adjust. So if you're going to use a logical operator, each condition in your logical expression has to be enclosed in parentheses, and the logical operator for and is the ampersand, just like it is in JavaScript and C++ and Java. So let's see this work. Oh, we don't get any cars back. That might be the case. So let's go up to our other data. Yeah, so far a quick look, none of these. Then why don't we just adjust? Let's say, I think if we do 5,000, we'll get them. Let's do 10,000. So that way we get a couple of cars back. New York is expensive. Okay, so there we go. So with the price less than 10,000 in the state of New York, we can see here we got 6 vehicles back. All right, so let's take a look at another way of the other logical operator. So let's do the OR. So let's say DF, and if you allow me, I'm just going to grab this one here. So let's see if there's cars in New York or New Jersey. And let's see what we get here. Okay, so we get a lot more. If you recall, with just New York, I believe it was 58 cars. With New York or New Jersey, we get 145 cars. We get a lot more cars this way. So here's the AND operator. Here's the OR operator. Now let's get a little more sophisticated. Let's say we wanted to check for a couple of states. Now hopefully you can appreciate that this would be annoying. To have to do DF state equals New York, or DF state equals New Jersey, or DF state equals Connecticut, and so on. So what we can do, Pandas has a nice function that lets us specify a bunch of columns in one shot. So DF dot state is in. I love the fact that they use this. The name of the function is in, because it makes it very readable when you read the code. So is in, and what we can do is we can provide a list. So say New York, New Jersey, and let's grab one more state. What's close by? I'll do Connecticut. You know what? Let's do Texas for the hell of doing Texas. Something way out there. Texas. And let's see what we get. Okay, so let's see how many cars. We got 359 rows. So you can see it, the only cars we're seeing are from New Jersey and Texas. Now, let's say we want to combine this along with the less than 2,000 price. So if you recall, this is its own expression. So we're going to have to encase this in its own set of parentheses. Put the OR operator here. And I'm just going to grab it from the other one instead of typing it from scratch. There we go. Let's run it. Let's see what we get. Okay. So we get 836 rows. And what else do we see here? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, 2 things. First, I want to reduce this down to 2,000. And I made a logical mistake. No pun intended. I asked for the cars that are in New York, New Jersey, and state, and I wanted and the price less than 2,000. So let's run it again. Because with the OR, what was happening, I was getting the cars in this state at any price, and then the cars in all the other states less than 10,000. Okay, so it looks like for under 2,000, we're not getting anything from New York and New Jersey, but Texas has a couple. Now, if you kind of look at these, I'm going to guess, well, you can see here from the title status, salvage. That means they're broke. But that's okay, though. These might be some antique cars that somebody loves to, fix up and then resell. So let's review a little bit of what we've done in this video. It was a quick one. But again, there's not much to it. So we can filter columns simply by specifying the column name. To filter rows, we can use comparative operators such as less than, equal, greater than, not equal to, and compare it to a particular value that we're looking for. We can also combine individual little conditions together with AND and OR logical operators to create more sophisticated filters for our data. So hopefully you're feeling a little more empowered and enjoy.